I never thought I'd be back here, updating a bunch of strangers on the slow-motion car crash that is my life. A few months ago, I spilled my guts about my 20-year marriage crumbling under the weight of lies and disrespect. You all gave it to me straight, and I'm back for more. Strap in. Back in February, I finally put my foot down and demanded a 2-month separation. We told the kids I was on an extended work project, a necessary lie that left me feeling like a ghost in my own home. My wife, Chloe, hated every second of it. My terms for coming back were non-negotiable. She had to find a new marriage counselor and lead the charge, explaining her past verbal jabs and the physical stuff, like the time she slammed the shower door so hard it jammed, trapping me inside. She did it. But the real sticking point was the truth. I needed to know everything, especially about her best friend's bachelorette party years ago, a subject that always triggered a double standard from her. The trickle of information was torture. She'd say she was working on how to tell me with her own therapist. Each day, my mind would race to the worst possible conclusions. We ended the separation in April, with me thinking we were turning a corner. In therapy, she owned the abuse, explaining it peaked around 2016, 2018. She admitted she'd grown deeply resentful after I got a big promotion. At the same time, she got into incredible shape, shedding the last of her baby weight, while I had put on a few pounds. She saw me getting all the attention, and she couldn't stand it. Hearing her state it all so clinically was its own kind of gut punch. But I was still hung up on the bachelorette party. The silence felt like a wall between us. So in June, I told her I was leaving again. This time she was strangely calm. We even went on dates. It was confusing, to say the least. She promised a full disclosure was coming. Then the bomb dropped. She asked me to join a session with her therapist for a therapeutic disclosure. My stomach churned. In that sterile office, she finally laid it out. The main bachelorette was tame, but there was a second, wilder party thrown by the bride's work friends at a hotel, with strippers. She swore she never touched them despite their persistent efforts. I realized I didn't even care about the strippers anymore. It was the years of lies and hypocrisy that cut deep. But that wasn't the end of it. She had another story, one that made my blood run cold.
Back in 2016, she had a friend, Laura, a fitness instructor going through a nasty divorce. Laura became obsessed with a recently retired pro athlete she met at the gym. To get close to him, Laura would drag my wife along as a wingman. The athlete's friend, a guy I'll call Mark, zeroed in on Chloe. Her version? He was all over her, his arm constantly around her, hands groping her, sending unsolicited dick pics, even buying her a thong bikini, hoping for photos in return. She claimed she felt trapped, disliked it, but tolerated it for Laura's sake, and liked the attention. Nothing physical happened, she said. I was numb. Chloe was sobbing. The therapist was praising her bravery. All I felt was a profound, soul-crushing humiliation. Then my phone exploded. It was Chloe's best friend, Sarah, calling and texting, swearing the bachelorette story was true. Then Aura texted, confirming her role in the whole sordid Mark affair. Suddenly, a chorus of near strangers was vouching for my wife's version of events. She could trust all these people with her secrets, but not me, her husband. It felt like a carefully orchestrated intervention, not a confession. That was the moment I knew I was done. My love for her is a stubborn ghost I can't exorcise, but the trust is shattered. We're officially separated. I've spoken to a lawyer. The kids are furious with me for blowing up the family. The irony is a bitter pill to swallow. The moral of the story? Love isn't just a feeling. It's a daily practice of respect and honesty. I adored my wife, but I lost myself in the process.
Latest update. It's been a brutal couple of months. Let me clear up some questions first. Timeline. Sarah's bachelorette party was in 2009. The Laura and Mark saga went down in the fall of 2016. The physical abuse started in the summer of 2018 and ended in January 2019. Our kids are now 19, 16, and 14. Why didn't I leave when she first hit me? Shock. Pure and simple. My kids were younger, and the thought of not seeing them every day was terrifying. I believed therapy could fix us. I was wrong. In August, I was at rock bottom, shuffling in and out of the house. The sheer embarrassment kept me from talking to anyone. I finally broke down and told my sister, Maya. She was my rock. She got me back into therapy, which has been a lifeline, helping me focus on my kids and the good years, even if they now seem like a beautiful lie. Then came the friend testimonies. Sarah met with me, a bundle of nerves twisting her coffee cup. She apologized profusely, explaining the second bachelorette was a result of peer pressure from her work friends. She begged Chloe to come as a moral support shield. She confirmed nothing happened with the strippers. I never would have cared about the party, Sarah, I told her. I cared about the lie. She then launched into a speech about how much Chloe loves me, how perfect we are together. The whole performance felt staged. Laura, however, was a hurricane of crazy. She confessed that she basically used my wife as bait to keep the retired athlete interested. According to her, Chloe was visibly uncomfortable and found Mark pathetic. Then the kicker. Laura recently tracked down the retired athlete who laughed it off and called my wife your hot friend that Mark couldn't close. Laura, this lunatic, then offered to let me speak to Mark, who was now apparently happily married with a kid. I declined. Some doors are best left welded shut. None of their proof changed a thing for me. The deception was the crime. Then Chloe dropped her own bomb. In individual therapy, she finally confronted 2 sexual assaults from her college years. The first was a violent attack by her stepbrother's friend. The second, just months before we met, involved being groped and terrified at a party. Her family, her own mother and stepfather, dismissed her. Hearing this broke me in a new way, a furious, helpless heartbreak for the girl she was. She was so desperate to prove her honesty, she insisted on a polygraph. She passed, the examiner stating she was truthful about not cheating and that Mark's advances were unwanted. But the test changes nothing. The science is shaky, and it doesn't erase years of secrets. I don't recommend it. Now we're in a miserable in-house separation, me camping out in the finished basement. It's a bizarre limbo. She's always been a fitful sleeper, and sometimes she'll wander down in the middle of the night, curling up against me for comfort. I've had my own struggles, panic attacks that leave me gasping, and she's the only one who knows how to calm the storm inside me. This intimacy is a dangerous drug, blurring all the lines, and I'm trying to wean myself off it. So here I am, trapped between my pain and my pity. My wife endured horrors and carried that trauma into our marriage, where it festered and turned her into someone who could hurt me. She's doing the work now, getting healthier. Part of me feels like a monster for wanting to leave when she's finally trying to heal. But another part, a louder part, can't forget the years of abuse, the control, the gaslighting. I'm not making any decisions until next year. My head and my heart need to reach a ceasefire first. One last thing. After my last post, a mob descended, accusing me of neglecting my kids and even suggesting my wife was abusing them. I went into a panic, talking to each of my kids, their therapists, my sister. The unanimous verdict was that they have always felt safe and loved by both of us. They were mad at me for disrupting our family, which is a natural reaction, but they are not, and never were, in danger. Protecting them is the one thing we've always agreed on. They are the one pure thing left in this whole mess.